Sup.
Welcome back to the Pinball Party Podcast. We had so many audio problems that let's just get right into this. Welcome, Cale and Zach.
Figure it out.
I should be specific. There's too many Zachs I know in my life, and every time I talk to my wife, she's like, which Zach? And I'll say, if I say Pinball Zach, she's like, which Pinball Zach? So this Pinball Zach is Zach from South Dakota, as she knows, but also Deep Dive Zach, who's been on the show many times. Welcome, Zach.
Thanks for having me.
And Mr. Cale Hernandez.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's good to be back, Jason. I'm glad you cranked this show back up for me.
We had been talking for a little while. I mean, all three of us in random ways of like doing kind of an end of year thing. And after a few month break, you know, there's a lot to discuss. So again, per usual, absolutely no agenda, but to the two of you here, basically like anything that has to do with 2024 is fair game. And then, you know, maybe some of the stuff we're looking forward to in 2025. Ironically, before we get into that, Zach, how's the no caffeine? Because you're also somehow not planned, got off caffeine the same time I did.
I got such a kick, like when you were talking to me about your last podcast, and I listened to it because we, no planning at all, just coincidentally both quit caffeine at exactly the same time. So I've been doing that for 3 or 4 months now, just cold turkey. And like, it's bizarre. I think I was telling you this. I can't say my life is different in any way whatsoever.
I hate everything about what you just said. So, except for the part that you quit caffeine, it sounds like you probably didn't need to. Who cares? Get back on it.
Yeah, man, it was one of those weird things. We were talking about this. It's because, like, 5 months ago or something, Cale, like I just randomly got tinnitus one day, and I have great hearing, so it just one day I just had a ringing in my ears. Saw some audio specialists, and they were just like, give you that long list of things where they don't know what's wrong with you. And they're like, it could be one of these 25 things. And you're like, got it. I'm old and, you know, we're here. And one of them was caffeine. And I was like, fine, I'll prove you wrong. So I quit caffeine cold turkey. Did nothing. My ears are still ringing, but like it hasn't changed my life in an appreciable way. I don't sleep more. I have no explanation.
Two things. Fuck you about all that. But, did you say you went and saw an audiologist? Because I saw one about 5 months. Okay, to get a hearing test to make sure because of between like music and nonstop whatever. My hearing is top notch still, but I have tinnitus a little bit, or some people say tinnitus. Well, I think that's, and I hate that word. I
don't like that.
Say it like an adult. Say tinnitus. Cale, how about you? I mean, I know you got cauliflower ear, but what about tinnitus?
I have cauliflower ear. I have horrible tinnitus. I've had it for many, many years, you know, just from playing live music.
Yep. And
I wear hearing aids.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And I'm on caffeine and edibles.
Okay. Now, since this episode's all about 2024 caffeine, I remember looking back at it, this comes up all the time. When you guys were talking about, what was it those little shits that you would drink, you and Rachel? It's like, is that some dude's name on it? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, totally. Well, now they were little energy shots, like green tea energy shots.
Wait, now you're on the big ones?
Oh man,
yeah, they're tiny. Now we found some better ones. They're called Soul Teas, and it's little tiny energy shots, and it's like 90 milligrams of caffeine. So I guess like a cup of coffee. We've been messing around with that, but in honor of you. We are doing dry January, no caffeine.
Oh,
we don't drink, so we have to stop something else.
Stop the edibles in the pot. Try that.
That's what we're doing.
Oh,
we're gonna raw dog it.
Yeah,
wow.
Not recommended. Yeah, you're gonna hate it,
man.
Yeah.
You just
no. I'm gonna love it, dude.
No lubricant, huh? Just
nope.
Yeah, but you're gonna come. You're saying you're taking a month off, but plan to come back. So.
Well, who knows?
Oh, okay.
Who knows, right?
It is great without all of it. Like you could just toss me in the most like anxious situation. I'm fucking fine. It's great. Like put me in the middle of whatever.
Good.
But aside from that, oh my God, dude, just aggravatingly boring. Fucking dumb. Anyway, so that's how it's affected me.
Okay.
And it really lines up with how long has it been since I played pinball? Well, about 4 months. How long has it been since I quit caffeine? About 4 months. Let's talk about 2024 in pinball. So for me, again, no agenda, but I took a long break, and some of it was to further test out my not tinnitus but tendinitis of my left hand. It was hard to tell if it was from playing guitar, from typing, from pinball, from lifting weights. It was probably a little bit of all of it. So I've been trying the last couple weeks to play a little more, to find out, like, can I still do this? Not mentally, but like physically. And I played a bunch of Jaws yesterday, and my arm fucking hurts like shit. So what did I do? I bought a Metallica Premium like 20 minutes ago.
Love it.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Stupid as hell. My body's like, don't do that. And my head's like, all right, yeah, I should do it. So I bought a Metallica. I bought it from Flippin' Bird Pinball. Actually, it's Flippin'. How do you pronounce it? Flappy Birds? Flappy Birds Pinball outlet in Indiana. No, from Flippin' Out Pinball. Zach and Nicole, everyone out there. Wait, I got it here. Let me just do it. Let's.
When I buy my pinball shit, I buy from Flippin' Out. From toppers, hard plates, premiums, I've got it figured out. Flippin' out, figured out. When I think of pinball, I think flippin' out. Flippin' out, figured out. When I buy from Flippin' Out.
Bye. And we're not recording this video. We can see video, but Cale, I used that guitar that I'm pointing to, that green one, for that song, and has a little sticker there. I still haven't taken it off. The electric bat.
I see it.
Arcade, yeah. So I guess,
Thank you.
for those who don't know, maybe you don't, I glossed over this quickly, but although Zach is a friend of mine and a pinball friend of mine, we met from trading pinball machines, and he does the deep dives with me. Cale is from the world-renowned Electric Bat Arcade in Tempe, Arizona. Him and his wife, Rachel, who own it and pwn it, P-E-W-N, to really use that, started that, and it's, in my opinion, the most successful pinball arcade of all time. You guys have your own cast, Electric Bat cast, correct? You guys did one a few days ago.
We sure do, and thank you for the plug.
Oh, dude, I'll plug you anytime. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, we do that every once in a while. Search Electric Batcast on Spotify or your favorite podcasting application. We're also on YouTube. Go follow us there. And we just started streaming. We've been testing.
You've been streaming for a while.
Well, but not with a wireless rig, and that is a completely different animal. And we've had a lot of help from Tom. Tom's given us some advice. Backhand.
Tom G.
Yep, Tom Graff. And it's a different monster when you're dealing with wireless HDMI transmitters and receivers, and just one bad USB cable could be the death of a stream. And we've been testing it out, and we had a good test run yesterday, and it's only going to get better. I had to assemble this thing because Arizona State Championship, Pinball Championship, is at Electric Bat this year. So I wanted to bring it to the masses and show people what the AZ pinball scene is like, and what the state championship is like at Electric Bat.
Anytime you've heard Neon Dale music on here, not like the pinball stuff like Flippin' Out or Triple Drain stuff or any of the pinball related music, but anytime you've heard like proper Neon Dale from the album Cosmic, for those who aren't aware, I'm in a musical group called Neon Dale. If you ever heard that, it was recorded by a studio called Black and Bloom out of Denver, Colorado. I say that because the sound engineer I worked with, his name was Kyle, is a guitar player for the band called Counterpunch. So stay with me. There's this band called Counterpunch out of technically Chicago, and they're going to be playing at Electric Bat in March. And I saw this poster randomly, and I messaged Kyle. I'm like, bro, you're playing at my buddy's arcade in Tempe, Arizona. He's like, fuck yeah, I am. And do you remember the date off the top? It's March something. I could Google it. Cale, you know it?
We'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah. Anyway, everyone should go there. Go if you like punk rock music, and specifically if we have to get into like the flavor thing, very skate punk. Counterpunch is a fantastic punk band out of the Chicago area, and their guitar player I am smitten with. He actually did the bass recording on a lot of the Neon Dale songs. In fact, all of them. Because of my tendonitis, he laid down a lot of those tracks, and he helped with a lot of the harmonies, not singing them, but helping create a couple things. And anyways, go support the band Counterpunch, and they're going to be at the Electric Bat Arcade in March, and yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
God damn, it's going to be fun. It's such a great band to have there. Man, I should drive down there.
Thank you. Yeah, dude, we're down here. Come on.
God damn it.
That's such a crazy coincidence.
I know.
Yeah.
I love it.
We got a new booking agent, so we have a lot of good stuff. Like Master Killer from Wu-Tang Clan is coming. We have a lot of big acts coming this year, so this is going to be a blast. I do want to mention one thing before we get too far. You met Flipping Out. You had the little Flipping Out song that you do.
When I buy the
You mentioned toppers.
Toppers are place premium. Yep.
I'm not usually a topper person, but we got the Metallica topper with the Expression speaker light kit. Holy crap. Call Zach and get one of those. I'm telling you, it is a game changer. The way they work together, the lights work together in both of them. We haven't installed the expression lighting yet, in the cabinets, but man, get the speaker lights, get the topper. You will not regret it.
Okay, I did it. Yes, agreed. Get the expression lights no matter what. I'm trying to buy those right now. They're out of stock at everywhere. But March 12th, by the way, for Counterpunch at the Electric Bat. So if you're never going to go to Electric Bat, eat shit. That's stupid. But if you do, you should go March 12th and find one of the guitarists and tap him in the sack. The back of your hand. I'm whipping. You guys get it. Tap his sack.
I do the front of the hand and a nice tug.
Oh, you're trying to jack a guy off.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to just like.
That's my new thing. When I hang out, I message people. What we jacking, bro?
What are we jacking? Okay. Good. Yeah. Go get a Metallica topper and expression lights. Zach, what has been your overall before we get into it, we'll pick out some games and talk about them, but what's your overall 2024 pinball vibe, for lack of a better question?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're discounting just the market in general,
that's usually what we talk about. Yeah.
Well, it's it's impossible to ignore, right? When you're just talking about
for
how
you and
expensive
I,
the games are.
Cale and Rachel, they don't fucking care.
They got a business, totally different thing. And I was gonna say, on a side note, Cale, I used to go to Arizona a pretty fair amount, but I haven't been in a long time. But love what you guys are doing down there. That's phenomenal.
Thank you.
Really look forward to watching your guys' stream for the tournament. That's fantastic.
Thanks, Zach.
In terms of games, just as a non-monetary statement, it's like this weird kind of semi-forgettable year. I forgot that Jaws technically came out in 2024 because there was such this just so many games were released, but so many of them are not hitting. Like John Wick. It's this grouping of you got super excited about X-Men and that insanely cool layout. It's so interesting and phenomenal, and it's just not hitting right. I was playing it again yesterday with my buddy Eric that
Pickle.
And Pickle. We were playing that and I want to love that game. I think this is 2024 in a nutshell if you discount Jaws, which just snuck into this year.
Yeah.
But I was playing X-Men and I really want to love that, but there's something about it. The rules are really simple. I don't love the voice acting. It's not quite right. There's something that's just not hitting. And I feel like that's my feeling on most of the games this year. 2024 just seems except for Metallica. Well, separate category, right? It's not it's a remake, but that Metallica LE, whoa. I mean, just everything about that home run, kudos.
That was a surprise to me when it came out that I figured they would fuck something up. Not because of Stern, but you get something that you want remade. Star Wars, the prequels, or sorry, the sequel. Yeah, even the prequels, they fuck something up and fuck. But the more Metallica Remastered got shown, was like, my God, they're like, not only are they hitting everything right, everything, in my opinion, the back glass, the art on the, like, they changed the art, but they changed it to like, wow, I mean, art's subjective, but in my opinion, it's either as good, if not better. They made the flipper feel better from what I've heard. I haven't played it. They made the rules better, in quotes, I should say. The lighting better, the audio better, everything better. And then on top of that, and then the magnets and the hammer. And then on top of that, the LE out of nowhere was the first LE in how long to, like, if someone bought it, you could flip it and make money, which I don't condone. And anyone that does that, fuck off. Stop doing that shit. But the first LE in a long time that held and increased its value, which is a big marker for like, people want this shit. And it's the game that brought me back into like doing this podcast the last few weeks and talking about it. If there wasn't Metallica, I agree. Jaws was the only thing this year that, I mean, I'm looking at the list of games. We got Jaws, just to go through them. Jaws, Looney Tunes, Texas Chainsaw,
Avatar, the most forgettable game.
Oh my God. The Princess Bride, Ninja Eclipse, Barbecue Challenge.
Barbecue. I mean, that's more memorable than Avatar, which is comical, right? Like, as a guy who hates a lower playfield, the concept that JJP is going to come out and be like, hey, what if we gave you more LEDs and more lower playfields?
Yeah,
like,
everything
just
you
kill
want.
me. Like, what?
And charge you $15,000 for it. John Wick came out. Let's see. ABBA came out. The Funhouse
this year. Wow. Okay.
remake. Did Alice in Wonderland technically come out?
I mean, doesn't a game have to ship for the, you know?
Does that mean?
And then X-Men.
Cactus Canyon LE hasn't come out, or Pulp Fiction LE?
Well,
you guys missed one game. One Stern game that was new this year.
X-Men, John Wick, Jaws.
X-Men, John Wick, Jaws.
That was new?
Yeah.
What?
Now you got me.
The Jurassic Park with
teeth?
Oh, Jurassic Park. Well, you had the black and white Godzilla.
The Costco edition with the
man.
Oh, what the fuck? Isn't that just
the home edition?
No, they add it's a plus. It's like the home edition plus. That's a new version.
And
it's in between the two. For the life of me, I can't remember what's different about it now.
It's had Insider Connected.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So that probably didn't sell well, right?
No, that crushed it, man.
Really?
Yeah, they had to. Yeah, Costco reordered. They were selling out this holiday season.
It's such a cool layout, though. I mean,
it is.
If that wasn't like an MDF playfield and like not like a real high quality pinball machine, that layout is amazing. Jack Danger is one of my favorite designers. I love what he does. I think that's why I want X-Men to be better than it is.
I know. And X-Men, like, okay, I want to talk about X-Men in a second, but the randomness. Nah, fuck it. Let's talk about X-Men now. Remind me about the Star Wars guy. If you can remind me about the Star Wars guy in my neighborhood, if I forget, please do, because it's random as shit. Yeah, I've played a lot of X-Men the last few weeks. They have a premium at my location, which is odd. And every time I walk up to it, I'm like, yeah, I want this to be so good. And every time I'm like, And it's not like he did it. I hate this because like we kind of know some of the people here or like are close to some of whatever. It's not that Jack Danger is a bad game designer or anything like that. I love Foo Fighters. Like, one of my favorites. And that's a major part to him. But there's something about X-Men that, to me, some of the shots are very clunky. Getting in the Cerebro area is like every time I don't want to be in there. And a lot of the shots, like although they're supposed to go around a certain way and come back a certain way, they do it, but they do it sometimes slowly, or sometimes there's not enough speed to actually do what's supposed to happen. And it's something slightly out of your control. And then on top of that, the rules are like, And same. I want to love it, and I've given it a lot of time, and I try to break through that. Sometimes there's that crust of like an initial game like Jaws, which I couldn't stand in the beginning. I thought it was terrible. You got to bust through that, and then there's gold on the other side. I can't find the gold in X-Men.
Well,
do you have an X-Men, Cale? I'm interested to hear your take on this.
Yeah, we have a pro, and I mean, it's just like other games. We were so blessed with Metallica because it was a game that was fully baked. They just had to
Mhm.
add a little
Just
icing
like
on
you.
top. There we go. And they just had to add a little icing and a cherry on top, and they released a game with fully fleshed out code.
Mhm.
But this has always happened. I mean, remember when Stranger Things dropped? Oh, it's a giant
Oh
piece of
man,
shit. There's no code.
terrible.
And then the code matures and everybody wants it, and then they had to vault it. Uh, not the vaulting in the sense of what they do now,
Yeah.
which where they put Foo Fighters and a couple of other games in the vault and hold them for 2 years. The traditional vault where they re-release a game,
Yes.
The
ACDC, right?
demand for Avengers Infinity Quest is so high they had to vault it to bring it down, bring it back
Imagine being
Right.
down.
being a
But
new pinball player and coming in here and someone telling him like, "Oh, they vaulted it." Like, "Oh yeah." Like, wait. And then like, "No,
yeah,
you mean the remastered." "Oh, like Metallica remastered?" "No, I mean like Vault." Like the
right,
Vault they just
right.
announced? "No, the old Vault where they remade it." What?
Yeah, they need to wrangle that message. But same thing happened with Bond. Well, I remember
Mhm.
when Bond dropped at Expo and we played it on the prototype code. We were like, "Holy shit, this game is amazing!" But
Yeah.
then they had to get approvals for all that, so they released Bond with a stripped down code, and everybody was upset. But now Bond is an absolutely amazing game with fully fleshed out code. Mike Vinicore and the team did a great job. Gomez, all them boys. And same thing with X-Men. I mean, the code's
Mhm.
going to mature, and everybody is going to want this game.
Uh,
Um,
I
I
I
get
think the
in
thing.
this weird place, and I think
Yeah.
Jason and I are on the same page where I really am down to a point where like I'm kind of want to take the games for where they are,
mhm,
as opposed to where I hope they'll be, and they have a good track record.
mhm.
Guardians was awful when it came out. Batman was awful when it came out. Stranger Things was awful when it came out. Bond, to your point, it was not really very good. It's great. I love Bond now,
Mhm.
but X-Men, the code is a major problem, but then after that, I don't like the danger room part of that game. And
That's what I'm talking about.
I
Yeah, not Cerebro. Sorry. Is that
Well,
the
so
the extra playfield thingy?
Jack, he mentioned in a recent interview that they're going to make that very lucrative.
okay.
Your risk reward. So you're going to want to get in there to get the big points, especially if you're in like a tournament or something.
Hmm.
They're going to make that very lucrative to where you're going to want to play in the danger room to build up points and bonuses. So I think that's going to be really interesting.
Well, I want to
Yeah.
love that game, so I'm here for that.
I think a big difference, which is great. This isn't like you're right, we're right, wrong. But you have an arcade where like these games come in, they make money, and they're like, oh yeah, people like it. And that we're coming from a standpoint of like, can I invest thousands of dollars in this thing? Can I risk like losing X amount of
Sure.
money
Yep.
to do it? And that's where like for me, where most of my perspective comes from. I would
Hmm.
love to have yours, Cale, where like it doesn't matter how bad the game is. You know what I mean? To a certain extent,
Yeah.
over time, it'll make money, and like it's really, I would love all of them. But I have to like really like if I would have gotten a John Wick to like, oh, I'll play it at home and then like lose a bunch of money if I keep doing that. I can't keep doing this hobby full stop.
Mhm.
And so Metallica, same with Jaws. And when I was texting this Zach to text the other Zach about if I was going to buy one, of like, how much money will I lose if I go into a Metallica? Because it's not about how much will I make. It's just I want to play this game. Is it like a financially poor decision in life
Hmm.
to do it? And if a game comes out and doesn't meet the code or the shots, then that's what affects it. And it sucks because if it wasn't like that, I think every game would be great. I think a big difference, at least to me, on X-Men versus Bond is that even in the beginning, I remember playing a lot of Bond with Ian from Nudge down at the local haberdashery here. And even in the beginning, the code was terrible. But we're like,
Hmm.
this thing shoots like $1,000,000. Some of these
Yeah.
shots are so much fun, no matter what. And even when they had that like the in-lane like bug where you could basically just I forget what it was. You got like 40 million for just going over rollovers. I forget what that was.
Hmm.
We even just had that. But X-Men, even with code, doesn't change the way it like shoots and feels. Where like Foo Fighters, even in the beginning, even with Foo Fighters in the game off, I like playing that game. So I mean, maybe yeah, the risk reward to the danger room could be a huge part of it, the Jack Danger Room.
Yep.
But
Time will tell.
time will tell. I remembered Star Wars Guy before anyone listening was like, oh my God, talk about this amazing Star Wars guy. It's a bad story, so buckle up. It's dog shit. I was at the arcade yesterday. playing games. John came in, one of the guys who fixes the games there, and he was Venom broke because it always does. So he was working on the scoop on Venom. He's like, "Oh, hey, I was just in your neighborhood and installed a couple shaker motors for a guy, and no one knows where I live, and that's fine and good. But it's a place where you don't expect people to play pinball." I'm like, "What do you mean in my neighborhood?" He's like, "Oh yeah, down the road from you." Like, what? So there's some guy down the road from me that owns 2 premiums, a Star Wars and a Mandalorian. He bought each for like 10.5 grand because like why wouldn't you? And I'm like, God damn it. And each of them, he's like, yeah, he's had them for a long time. They each have about 50 plays.
Wow.
Cool. So one of those guys where he paid someone to install a shaker motor. So I say that, and why it reminded me is earlier when I thought that the Jurassic Park Home Plus edition would sell like shit. There's some of these people out there that just have money and like, yeah, I just want to buy these pinball machines, just put them in my house. And it always surprises me. I can't do that. I mean,
No, well,
I do.
It's really tricky, right? And I know that it's not. It's definitely a different equation, especially with Cale. But I don't mind losing money. You know, I've been doing this for so long, right? That I never go in expecting to even break even. But it is a different equation now, where like I'm like, well, you know, let's say I bought an X-Men premium for 9,500, right? That's what Stern wants. Like you're gonna lose $2,000 on that. I mean, Foo Fighters is a phenomenal finish game, and they don't, you know, they're like low sevens.
For a
So it's
premium,
pretty rough.
It is rough.
For a premium.
Even a Foo Fighters LE, which I owned when it was like $12,000. Now you can buy one still right now for 9.5.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
that's
so
not
good.
that's not a little amount of money. Over time, that just adds up to a lot. It sucks, and that's kind of my year in review, which I'd like to talk about some of these games a little more, but just that the market is correcting itself, and I don't even know if it seems to be evening out because it really doesn't. It keeps going down, at least on the secondary market. If locations are doing great, that's awesome. Looking at the coin drop yesterday at my local place, I mean, even Venom had a shitload of coins in there, but it's right next to Jaws, and I've played a lot of Jaws, and I see the people who are coming up. It's just they're coming up for the theme. They're putting the coins in. They're like, "What the hell is happening?" Because it's Venom, and then they stop playing it, and there's usually like a ball or two left, and that just repeats. But
you're also not on the journey, Jason, where like you don't. It's a very different experience for you because you're not going to get an X-Men that's brand new with undeveloped code and then wait a year and a half for it to get finished. I've done that with a
No.
lot of games. And that's fun. That's a different fun experience of seeing the changes and how they develop. And Cale probably gets that, you know, better than me, even because you get to see every version of a game through its lifespan.
For sure.
But yeah,
And we kind of have to deal with the same situation you guys do, but in a different way, where it's like now we've been open for 6 years, so we know which manufacturers we can trust to put out games that are going to make us money, and the winners are always Stern and Spooky. We've tried Jersey Jack. I mean, they just don't have any longevity as far as like bringing in money. Stern is the king. They get gaming. They get updates. They know how to get people coming back for more, especially with Insider Connected. And Spooky is a great. Our Rick and Morty still brings in a bunch of cash, and I think they do it with the theme and the quirkiness of their games, and we're used to working with them where we can make them reliable. You know, it's almost like you're getting like a pinball kit anytime you get an early Spooky. We get number 10 of every run. And so, and we always have to bulletproof it straight out the box so it can withstand the plays at the electric bat. But those two companies do it, and we've even gambled with American, and Hot Wheels was okay. Galactic Tank Force was a huge disaster. And there's no way we're going to gamble with the barbecue game. But yeah, so we kind of deal with the same stuff you guys do. Where we're learning which manufacturers we can trust to give us a return on our investment, and you guys are doing the same way, in a kind of different.
There's something to what you're saying there, Cale. If you listen to the thread, theme is really important on location. And even Spooky, which isn't hitting banger Grand Slam themes, they're picking smart themes. They're picking
Hmm.
smart IP, but they're also really giving the people who love that IP exactly what they want. Like you look at that Evil Dead and they clearly love that and like live it and it's in the game. So yeah, I think they're doing a better job of that than JJP. I just don't
Hmm.
when I see a JJP and I don't want to speak bad about them because I mean they're cool, they're super cool.
Yeah.
But at the price, running it on location to ever turn a profit versus the drop off and just I don't I don't love I don't really love any JJP.
There's something that mirrors the market and the arcade, which is the most that you see on the secondary market, and the most that are willing to like pay close at least to retail, not even close, are Spooky and Stern. I mean, JJP, although they look like $1 million, like there's something to lose like 500 to a grand, but there's another thing to lose like like $5,000 immediately. Like, well, okay.
Yeah.
And at the same time, Pirates, I guess new code update from Pirates, right?
Yeah.
6 years later, I'm not going to hold on to that game for 6
Right.
years.
And you still can't get to the wizard mode on Godfather.
Really?
I don't want to.
Good.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I don't love the game. I do. Elton John's pretty cool. I'll take it back a little bit. Elton John,
you're right.
pretty
Yeah,
cool. That price though, man, I'll just play Star
that's
Trek.
their best
I'll
game.
just play
And you
Star
could
Trek
probably
Pro.
get them. You can probably get them pretty cheap used, right?
You can. They definitely came down pretty hard, and that is a pretty cool game. But I still think it's like probably like what, like $9,000, maybe 8 or 9 grand.
Mm-hmm.
But that's
like
also a coin
9
flip.
grand.
Like how many people are going to really want to buy that game, even if you have it? And then let me see.
Jason, the answer for you is pretty easy. Like, are you gonna have more fun playing that Elton John than a Stern Pro?
Oh no. I mean, if it was free and if it was free, I'd have more fun playing an Elton John than I would a Venom Pro.
If their next game is Harry Potter, are you getting it?
That is honestly a question for you as well. I mean, you almost have to at that point, right? That game will just print money.
Does it matter if it's Hogwarts, like Hogwarts Legacy, like the video game,
Yes,
or does it have
matters.
to be Harry Potter? Does that matter to you too?
We are never. I don't think we're ever going to buy another Jersey Jack. After we were fighting and struggling with Avatar yesterday.
Oh, you bought one of those?
Rachel and I said the same. No, Game Room Goodies.
Oh yeah,
is letting us borrow it. They're coming to get it in a couple of days to put it back in their showroom. It's their demo game, and yeah, I mean we were struggling with so many issues, and it wouldn't be a big deal if it's not the same issues we saw in Godfather, the same issues we saw in Elton John, and we're like, man, we're just like, what the hell, Jersey Jack? You guys have all the money in the world. Why can't you solve all these problems? And I know, it's not fair to compare Jersey Jack to Stern. Stern has been doing this for way longer. I mean, you can't compare Stern to any of the other guys. They've been doing it for way longer. They have way more experience. But I mean, just like there are these issues that that could be resolved, and I think they're just thinking about other things. I think they're just focused on sales and trying to build something flashy that rich people are going to throw the cash down for.
At the price they're charging, you don't have to give them a free pass, right? At the price they're charging, and they're not a new company, right? They've been around a pretty long time at this point.
Yeah.
So
when was 2012? When was
Wizard of Oz? Yeah, 2012, 2013. I mean, they've been doing it a long time. I don't think you can give them a pass. What were your problems with Avatar? I don't even know what they are.
It was Avatar? Was that the first part?
We just had a coil burnout, and I know that just happens in pinball. The shorting a coil from overheating, but it happened in like all the games, like Godfather, Elton John, and then there were always issues with the LED boards on all of the games.
Oh man, yeah.
You'll get and then the worst part is, as an operator, I mean, the game plays fine, but there's this huge warning that pops up, check lily pad, whatever. And then so the person playing thinks there's an issue and they cut the game off and walk away. You know,
Mm,
and that has happened on all of the Jersey Jacks.
mhm.
Not dialed in. They had it figured out
Oh,
with dialed in,
that was a good game.
but then they something happened. Um, and I don't. They do something that most of the other manufacturers don't do. That they have USB C. I don't know if I think it's just carrying power, not logic. But either way, it's just not. You need a good, solid, like a Molex connector. You know, these games have shaker motors. People are
Dude.
throwing the machines around, even though Jersey Jacks are like 300 and something pounds. You just need a better connection, and that just get rid of those weak points. I don't know if that's why these LED boards keep failing, but there's an issue, and lots of times we've noticed a reset will fix these issues.
Oh,
Our,
great.
our games are on from 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. every single day of the week, and you can't keep a Jersey Jack on that long. Um,
Mm.
you know, and that's why I'm kind of worried about this whole idea they have with the $100,000 ticket system and putting Jersey Jacks in a mall. They don't hold up that well to the daily use.
There was there was a original Wizard of Oz in 2013 in our mall, and I went to play it a whole bunch because I was shocked that they had it there. I think it made it a couple weeks, right? Like it just,
Mhm.
yeah. And those had a lot of problems, right? The
Yeah.
first edition Wizard of Oz.
Well, the
But yeah,
lights
I don't.
especially.
Oh, the lights are so bad. But yeah, I don't think anyone can blame you for not wanting to do JJPs. I think it's even just from a profit perspective, I don't know how it's ever a good financial decision.
Right.
I would like to pivot from that to something to really celebrate for the year. And I know we talked about it earlier, but Jaws. In my opinion, fight me. Jaws is the game of the year as far as like if anyone's new to pinball, maybe not the theme that everyone wants. It's kind of a neutral theme, but that game, wow, it still impresses me to this day, except for
Mhm.
the obtuse rules, which are still somewhat obtuse, or it's not like they all link together as well as they should, in my opinion, to a certain extent. They're not readily available to a new person or even me from taking a break and coming back. I'm
Mm.
still sometimes like, what the fuck is happening?
Well, I'll throw the first punch.
Please.
Metallica Remastered is the game of the year.
Oh,
Woof.
shit.
I mean, not for me. I'll be the
Shit.
contrarian here. I'm not a Metallica lover. I love what they're doing with the remastered, but it's still going to be the same game at the end of the day. I'm one of those weird people that likes Guardians more than Metallica. So, making it look better and modernizing it, all that is fantastic. I'm super happy for the people that love it because I love the music. I want to love Metallica, but the game doesn't do it for me. I love Jaws. Jaws is a winner.
Yeah, I didn't think about the Metallica thing.
But I mean, is it new?
No, they.
Yeah, come on, that's a new game, man. That's
Sure. It's not a new game, but
Is it Godzilla then for you? The black and white Godzilla?
well, okay, it's way yeah, that's the game of the year. No, I get it that like it's new, it's way different than like a black and white. Yeah, they did a lot. But even then, I would still take Jaws over Metallica. I haven't played Metallica Remastered, but from playing the first one enough to know what I'm about to hit over and over and over and over and over and then repeat. Jaws, aside from the air balls, which is a problem, that seems to be, at least at the local one, I think the plastic has been beat to death enough where the air balls don't really happen.
I don't play Jaws on location, I guess would be the qualifier. I don't know how well they hold up on location. I play my premium at my house, and it's smooth as butter and great game.
And I think
we haven't had any. We run a pro, and we haven't had any issues.
Oh, that's good to hear.
That game has at least three shots that every time I hit them, I love the kinetic feeling. The center, 180 ramp. That's the gimme
quick
shot.
Return. Yep.
Fuck. The left spinner shot that super speeds it
oh
all
my
the way
God,
back.
what a great shot.
Fuck me. And then you hit the way right loop or the way right orbit ramp. Is that the wave ramp? Whatever they call that.
Yeah.
Fuck, it's so good.
Yeah.
Those are all phenomenal shots, and I get that like people don't on the premium the inner shot up onto the orca, up onto the boat. I get people don't really love that shot because it can
I
be pretty
like it.
difficult if you don't have your game tuned in really well.
Yeah, but when you
But
hit it,
man, oofed, that shot is unreal good because there's so many ball paths up there. Like that's what you want. It's kind of what I always wanted out of like Pirates of the Caribbean from JJP, not to bring it back to them, where the ball can do some different things and fall off the side. But up there, you just have so many shots. If you're gonna have an upper playfield, that's like the perfect upper playfield. It doesn't change the trajectory of like the pro and the premium play pretty much the same, but there's
uh,
so many different ball paths up there.
I was actually just about to say it is the one game where like I think there is a major difference between the pro and the premium, and it's not the upper play
Oh yeah.
field. I think it's the shark. The shark,
Oh yeah.
like on the pro, is so much harder to have quote register because you're hitting a ball that has to hit some I assume it's optos back there. That you have
Mhm.
to hit a ball that has to go at least like an inch to the back and to hit these optos. And it's specifically when you're like qualifying a bounty hunt and you need to hit a shot and then hit the shark, hit a shot and then hit the shark. On the
Mhm.
premium, you basically just have to hit the center, the shark. You hit it as lightly or as heavy as you want. It's going to probably register every time. On the pro, you have to hit it very specifically and with enough speed for it to bounce back and hit the opto. It's significantly harder game, I think, on the pro than the premium. And the wave ramp upper playfield is a difference, and the drop targets are a difference, but not where it's like, in my opinion, a major gameplay difference where I cannot nearly get as high of a score I can on a premium. I can't do as well on a pro than I can as a premium. And even just yesterday, like hitting a green shot during a bounty and then hitting the shark, I need like 3 to 4 attempts to get it to hit it hard enough for the right angle and whatever. Where in the premium, you just have to nick the shark and it just qualifies it. So that
Yep.
sucks for the pro. Otherwise, I would just have a pro for sure. But Jaws, and they keep coming out. They kept coming out with new code. They added that additional 8-bit mode.
Mm-hmm.
It's it just feels like the complete package, and it felt like the complete package even the first day. Where aside from the airballs, which I still had a problem with, and then Stern's customer support, and not always great, had a problem with it. But there was enough code, and the shots were already like similar to Foo Fighters, fun enough to where even if the code wasn't fully there, I just liked hitting that shit. And the more I
Cale, do
played it,
you like Jaws, and is it too long a player on location? Because it can be a long playing game, and I'm curious if you had to make it a little bit more difficult.
No, we keep all of our games like easy and fun. We don't jack them all the way up or remove rubbers.
Mhm.
Yeah, the good players do have long balls.
the
Same thing with the Godzilla. You know,
Mhm.
yeah, but that game, um, yeah, I mean people are always on it. People always get it. Any Elwyn game. Just people are just really attracted to
the
at our arcade.
I still feel the same about Jurassic Park that I always have, but even the more
Hmm.
time goes, the less and less I like Godzilla.
Yeah, I
I
agree. I'm not a Godzilla guy.
there's a lot of I've tried it even recently again, and I've owned it too many times to just I don't understand what it is, and yeah,
I find it even though I get that the code is really like there's a huge breadth of code and
yeah.
it's so deep and there's so much
Hmm.
going on. But when I play Godzilla and I owned it for a year and a half, I still feel like it's the same. It's very long playing, but it's also really samey. Like I feel like I'm gonna do the exact same thing every single time, and I just don't love the one thing it makes you do. I guess.
Some of these other games, agreed. I haven't been able to play them. Like Looney Tunes or Halloween. I did play some Halloween. It didn't work right. Um, and I
That's
wasn't.
the whole for me. I haven't played Looney Tunes or Texas Chainsaw Massacre somehow. Those are the one game I haven't played that came out this year. So I got no opinion.
Did they have? I wasn't at Expo. Did they have Alice in Wonderland there?
Yeah.
They did. It was a line. I looked at the line and then stared at I looked at the game for a long time. I stared at it for 10, 15 minutes and was like, I get it. I'm not waiting in this line.
Did either of you play Princess Bride or Ninja Eclipse?
I played Ninja Eclipse. I don't know what you played, Cale.
I played Ninja Eclipse the first time they brought it to Expo and thought it was really cool and really pretty. But it was that like shallow cabinet. You remember that one? Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
We didn't play it this time. And we did not play Princess Bride. It totally slipped my mind. I felt bad because Colin McAlpine came to the arcade and we were hanging out and he asked me if I got a chance to play it. I was, man, I didn't even go to that booth, but no, so I didn't play it.
The Ninja Eclipse was like just the amazing surprise hit of the show for me. That game is so much better than it has any right to be. I mean, it is really kind of just shocking how good it is. And for the price they were selling it for, I mean,
What was
kudos
it?
to them. It was it 8 grand, I think?
It's like 8 or 9, yeah.
It's so loaded. The game is really fun. It shoots really well. It has these shots that you really enjoy. I mean, you look at that game, it's better than any American pinball game by an
Mhm.
astronomical margin
Really?
because they took feedback. Yeah, and it's an unlicensed theme. But it works. That is really a shockingly good game. I hate
Yeah,
to say it that way, but
yeah, and to that point, I mean that's what I keep thinking. His name's Chris Turner, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, great guy. He listens to feedback,
Mm-hmm.
comes back and presents an amazing game that everybody has wonderful things to say about. And then you have David Fix, an American, who has like he has a company with a lot of money that will back him, and he can't put out. He has some talent there, and he just can't put out a game. He's obviously just not listening to. He's in this
I
little weird American pinball bubble. Just
I
listen to
looked
what
it
the.
up, Kale.
Hmm?
It's 7 grand. Ninja Eclipse was
Oh,
seven
that
grand.
that is a screaming deal. Not only that, I think there's only 100 of them. So
Yeah.
that thing's going to hold value 100%.
What a crazy price for a really good game. I mean, pretty shocking.
Where am I gonna ever play that game?
You're never going. Maybe Lit will get it, right? Like that's his wheelhouse, right? Like weird
Yeah, it's
games.
possible.
Maybe.
I know of a couple of operators who have purchased them.
And any feedback on how they hold up?
Well, I don't think they've been released yet.
Oh, I don't even.
Yeah, they've been
Yeah.
making them, but I don't think they're making that many. I think they're on like maybe they're probably slower than Spooky. So it'll probably take him, I bet, 6 months or so.
So to go from how awesome Jaws was, and then Ninja Eclipse, surprisingly, remember Haggis Pinball,
Oh
2024.
wow, almost
Oh
forgot.
man, that was this year.
Wowzers!
Man, I knew something was wrong when I had two friends who got the Fathom,
Yeah.
and man, it was. There's a local arcade that had one. I don't know if they still have it on the floor because it was just riddled with issues. Um, what a beautiful game that just didn't work properly, and that's when I knew that there's something wrong here. Something's going on, and that was well before they even announced. So where they sent an email out, so they were like restructuring financially, and
Yeah.
that's when things started going downhill.
My red flags like all went up when just when they started, and I was like, man, manufacturing in Australia seems like just a
Dumb.
Herculean challenge, right? Like just crazy because the parts aren't made there, the games aren't going there, right? So it's like this like just triple
Yeah.
threat of crazy difficulties. And man, but I just tried to stay optimistic until it looked pretty obvious it was never going to make it.
And then at the end, it was petering out like, no, it's all fine. Like, who are you fooling? What's
man.
happening? This is weird. And crash and burn. See you later.
I don't know where we're at with that saga, but I'm assuming it's where it was months ago, right? Where no one knows anything and it's just silence.
As far as I know, I try to just not pay attention to that at this point. Like, whatever.
It's so negative, right? Like, it's just the same negative thing again, where I'm sure a bunch of people lost money. Like, people want those companies to succeed because they're good people. But yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, I guess in 2024 news, and when you're talking about flipping out, boy, I mean, Zach Meny sure killed it on that thing. I mean, you can't say enough about him. Just
in general? The company?
just doing the right thing with that whole Haggis thing that went
yeah,
down.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
Yeah,
man,
that's amazing.
Mhm.
amazing business. Like that's why you support good businesses. You know,
Right.
A plus plus for many and flipping out.
Yeah, like it's not always the fastest buck, but long term, doing the right thing by people, morally and economically, like it pays
Right.
dividends. So yeah, I'm as those who know, just to like peek behind the curtains, maybe. I'm a very I value honesty a lot, and like I'm not just hey flipping out pinball because fucking whatever. Like it's because it's like super honest dude, and it's not bullshit. And there's plenty of pinball things I would not want to do sponsors with or talk about, and I won't. I won't. So I won't. But yeah, flipping out pinball. Go buy your stuff there.
Did you say pee behind the curtains?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Okay, that's what I
depends what you
thought.
want. If you want to peek or pee. In this, yeah, pee behind the curtains. What do you guys have? I'll preload the question. I want to talk about your favorite 2024 pinball X. I don't want to fill that in. It could be a game, could be a person, could be an event, could be I don't know, a game, could be a whatever. Um, man, and I got to think of mine. If either of you guys actually know the answer to your favorite
Mhm.
2024 pinball blank,
It was
let
a
me know.
couple. You know, Cale and I were talking while you were having all your audio issues.
No, I wasn't.
I went to
Fake news.
I went to Expo again after not going since 2017 and was blown away at how good that show was this year. I met Cale there briefly in person, and but the show is so well run, so well organized, so everything about it. I can't say enough how big a difference that is having gone to old ones like pre Pinball Boom and going to this one. I mean, everything they're doing. It's amazing. If you can go to Expo, I don't think you need to go. I was one of those people who said, you know, you have to go to TPF, you have to go to Texas Pinball Festival. That's the one. I don't know if I feel that way anymore. I think Expo, yeah, so
Mm.
good. And the huge difference, subtle, minor difference. I'm not a huge drinker or anything, but the fact that they sell beer in the show and you can walk around with beer in Expo, for some reason, it turns it into like a large arcade or something. I don't know. It's a different vibe.
Mhm. Yep.
Cale, do you know yours?
Yeah, and I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but it's the community, it's the people,
Delete.
and
Delete.
yeah, same thing. You know, even at Expo, I met so many great people, and especially because of the podcast that Rachel and I do. People were coming up to us, telling us how much they loved us, wanted to take photos, and everybody was so cool. And our local Arizona pinball community, more and more young people who didn't grow up with pinball, who grew up with video games. They're finding pinball, and they're every week they're attending league night, and it's just like. And they're wonderful. You know, we just meet them and they're giving us Christmas gifts, and the community all around pinball is just such a great thing that keeps getting better every year, and I really appreciate it.
Mm.
Yeah, I have a close second, you know,
Please
that
go.
can kind of glom onto that, Kale, which is it is community related. I really appreciate people like Tom and Fox Cities
Mm-hmm.
Pinball doing their streaming
Yes,
because you get to see some phenomenal pinball tournament coverage. You don't have to be a tournament guy. I don't play in tournaments. But like I really enjoy watching those streams and you get to see some crazy stuff. I mean, was that a couple weeks ago that they had the Winter Bash finals that he did? And there were some unreal four-person matchups with, you know, just the best players of all time playing some phenomenal pinball on a high quality stream. Like
for
that's
sure.
all community.
Yeah, and that stuff being on Twitch, that brings new people into the hobby. I've seen it where, you know, people watch Fox Cities Pinball, and then they try to figure out they don't know about pinball maps, you know, yet. They get on there, they find their local arcade. All that stuff's helping.
It is.
Mm.
It's crazy. And if you did you watch that any of that Winter Bash, either of you guys?
I didn't. I missed that
No.
one.
There's four-person matchups where like the four people playing are like Zach Sharp, Zach McCarthy, Keith Elwin, and
Wow.
Carlos
Oh, I did
Del
watch like
Cerda. Yeah,
Mhm.
Laserlos.
a couple minutes of it,
Nuts.
and I
I've
was
seen
like, "What
clips.
is this?"
It's
Yeah.
so it's such a great thing to watch. Fox Cities did such a good job. All the people that put it on. I can't remember where that is. It's someplace in Illinois. I can't remember. I wish I could remember the name of the
Illinois.
Atomic Pinball. Is that where it was?
Don't know.
I'm sorry.
Not sure.
If it is Atomic Pinball, I apologize.
Mine, man, I guess mine. I'll say what my real one is, and then I'll say like a pinball game thing. Mine was probably, well, there's a reason you two are on this podcast. I think doing the deep dives with Zach was a lot of fun building that earlier this year. That's my gut answer. So thanks, Zach, for all of that random scheduling and help me with all that, and then the support from Cale. Because I usually in this room, I'm not out doing all the stuff. I can't say the community aside from like this remote community. That's probably the what I enjoyed the most. Why I'm kind of doing it again. But to say a pinball game thing, for some reason, it was very much playing a ton of Walking Dead Pro earlier this year.
Nice.
And just like saying, all right, I'm not going to stop until I get to Last Man Standing or getting like horde mode multiple times in a row, like doing that kind of shit, which I don't know. Walking Dead Pro just clicked for me this year a lot. So those are mine.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. I used to be that way, so I get it. We're very similar. I think that's why we're friends. But yeah, I used to love it when I'd get in that mode where I'd have a game and I'd be like, okay, I gotta beat the wizard mode, and then just sit down and then just hammer on it until you do that. That's a fun time.
And full disclosure, I did not get to Last Man Standing. I don't think. I want
Well,
to. I'm not done with that quest.
There's some tough ones, man. Like I've
damn.
gotten to the wizard mode of I think every game I've owned except for like ACDC, which doesn't seem possible to me, and something else. But yeah, there's just some wizard modes that are just a different level of intense.
Yeah, Valinor. All right, 2025. In so many words, I'll sum up 2024 where it's like, hey, the market has been correcting, at least in the secondary. Prices have gone down. Is it dead? It's not dead yet. It's not like on the upswing like it used to be. However, still thriving on locations, still tons of games coming out, and there's still tons of games coming. So it's somewhat good for the secondary market for those who don't buy new in box. Like now you can buy cheaper games, and you can do what you used to do back in like 2014 and all that. And hopefully it levels out and we can kind of find where the sweet spot is and keep this hobby. Maybe it's not as big as it was during COVID. Maybe it evens out. That's fine. But like settle, please, so we can navigate that with our monies. 2025. The rumors of 2025 start with 7 days. I know because thank you, Stern, for the invite to come on site. Maybe because I complained publicly months ago. Maybe not, but regardless, thank you for the invite to come on site. But after 2 weeks off of work, basically, and then to come on a weekday, it's just not going to line up. We're going to be in Chicago the week after on a Friday. So my wife and I are going to a Michelin star restaurant. So we're flying down there.
Are you going to Alinea?
We're going to start with Sepia just to if we go 3-star, then it's like, well, all right. So we're going to start with 1 star, then we'll go 2, then we'll go 3. And then, so we're doing that. But yeah, I mean, Stern, if anything lines up on January 17th or the Saturday or the 18th, I'll be there the week after. But so starting next week, a game is going to be announced, or it could be announced any day now, but it'll be released, at least the title and everything. Dungeons and Dragons is the what everyone's saying is going to happen. I have my thoughts on Dungeons and Dragons. Let's talk about Dungeons and Dragons briefly from a couple standpoints. Obviously, owner operator, what do you think? Are you going to buy it? How do you think it'll do? And from Zach and I, secondary market, what do we think? And theme wise overall, Cale, let's start with what do you think from an arcade perspective? Dungeons and Dragons, if that's it.
For this particular arcade, Electric Bat Arcade, this thing is going to crush because we have so many Dungeons and Dragons fans at the arcade. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you won Bathroom of the Year, by the way. Side note, I just saw that.
Yeah.
And it looks like a Dungeons and Dragons bathroom.
Right.
Really?
Yeah. Well, it's just graffiti as fuck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And let me ask you, though, what I was like, people are graffitiing on the toilet and everything. Like, you're sitting down, And
You got to do something.
what I'm getting, yeah, but what are they doing? What I want to draw on it with is like one of those gel pens, so there's like some texture. So when someone sits
Puffy
down, like
paint.
what? Yeah, puffy. Like what
Glitter,
the fuck's on my
puffy paint.
ass?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. So if I come down there, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna.
So
Yeah.
does Venom do well for you on location?
Venom actually does well. Yeah. We have the pro.
Then
We have the
Dungeons and Dragons
pro.
will crush it.
Yeah.
You like playing that game? It's a fun game, right?
we laugh because we actually do love playing it, and we have some friends that absolutely blow it up and can show me all the tricks and everything. Yeah, we're a little different, man.
Well, I actually think it's fine. Like it's a I don't hate the game. I think it's okay. A buddy owned a premium. We played it a ton. It's a totally fine game. I think it just got kind of crushed by being the worst of everything else that kind of came out in the same time period.
It got
But it's not a bad
outshined
game.
by what? Like John Wick just fucking
Well,
outshined it.
I mean, I actually like the way John Wick shoots. I
What the
like
who am
John
I
Wick
talking
shoots
to?
better
What
than
the
Venom.
Fuck?
It really, John Wick is fun. It really is.
It's a fun shooting game. It's very difficult. That's my jam. I like Game of Thrones. The rules on John Wick aren't anywhere near as good as Game of Thrones. But in terms of shooting, it's a good shooting game. It could get there.
Right.
I'd like to play it. I don't know where I can play it.
I'm always, I got an eye. I got a side eye on John Wick, just like always kind of watching it.
The weather is beautiful down here, Jason.
Let me just hop on a plane. It's about a 4-hour flight.
So I haven't been keeping up with things. The rumors are Dungeons and Dragons by who?
Eddie and Dwight is what I keep hearing. And that's, I think, what will make people worried, right? Because I think Eddie
Star
and
Wars,
Dwight and Dungeons and Dragons, I think
I
that
disagree.
might not. I'm saying all those things combined may not hit in the larger market the way that they want them to, because the market's really down. Jack Danger couldn't sell a game. Elwyn can. So I don't know from just a purely sales perspective, but on a personal level, even when Dwight doesn't quite hit it, right? He didn't really kill it on Venom. And I don't like monsters. A couple of my favorite games are Dwight games. So like, and he's such a great person. I want him to succeed. Like I always will root for Dwight. So I'm super excited to see a Dwight game. And when it comes to Eddie, I love the Shadow. The Shadow is a home run. I really, really like Stranger Things a lot. And so I'd love for them to come out and just kill it. But I mean, I have a long distance view of this game. Like I have no plans on buying it because I don't expect it to kill it.
Right. Which version of the IP are we hoping for?
Come on, Wizards of the Coast.
The current rumor is the original painted like a player's handbook 1980s.
Fuck
like,
yeah, dude.
That's the rumor that keeps popping up.
If they do if they do anything
TSR,
but that,
like old TSR stuff.
Yeah. I think that's market aside, I don't think it'll do well, like market wise, just full stop. However, man, like I'm in, God, like I think with the history of Dwight coding and like a lot of multiplier number based, I mean, so is all of pinball. However, if it's really leaning in on the XP, which it should, it's Dungeons and Dragons, so people should be leveling
build your
up.
character.
Of course. Save your character with Insider Connected, build your shit up, pick a barbarian, a wizard, a goblin, a fucking
Dwight is
dark
perfect
elf
for this.
Fuck it, make it nerdy as shit. Lean into it. I want to level
Dwight
up.
is so perfect for this, but like my fear is, I think I don't know if Cale feels the same, but like Turtles, I like that game way more than most people, but it has so many problems.
It's not great.
And most of the problems are rules related. Like the scoring is just so wildly imbalanced and crazy that it really is hard to get into it. So I think that the concept of Dungeons and Dragons, he's the perfect guy to do it, but man, they really got to do a good job of balancing that leveling art, like XP characters. I don't know. I want this one to be great. I like those people a lot. And it could be one of those sneaky ones where I'm like, I have no interest in this. And then in 6 months, I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. So I'm always holding out hope.
it's kind of a neutral theme to the uninitiated, but to the initiated, people love D&D.
Well, that
Yep.
movie, the Dungeons and Dragons movie,
It was good.
is great. It's a really good movie.
The
and
latest
it
one, right?
Did not, yeah, the new one, the brand new one, the one from 2000s, clearly
Yeah, it's
terrible.
Captain Kirk.
But the brand new one, it's a really good movie, and it did really poorly. It didn't make money because I think the general public
Mhm.
just isn't there.
Yeah, if they make the game based on that movie, oh, that's a mistake. But if they just do the art, the Wizards of the Coast stuff, and if they
Yeah.
have the, now, I know what the answer to this for me. Which Wizards of the Coast property would sell better, this or Magic the Gathering? If this was a Magic the Gathering, I'd fucking blast off in my pants.
Oh man, I don't know. I play Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
I have played it. I just think D&D would sell more
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right overall.
because of the age of the people who are into D&D. You know, they have the money, and
So
you
do
know,
some Magic
this is a
people.
Hasbro license, and what else is a Hasbro license? GI Joe, and I've been trying to tell them over and over again. I want a GI Joe pin. It would crush. The people who are into it right now have the cash to buy it. Let's do it.
Transformers Gen 1 would also be good. I think G.I. Joe, Transformers, both good. I played Magic just like you. I love Magic.
I still
I don't know
played
what
it
kind
yesterday.
of appeal that has to the pinball market. I would assume
Yeah.
lower than Dungeons and
Yeah.
Dragons.
Fuck
But
off.
man, the fact
Damn
that
it.
you can't get a new Transformers game, you'd think that would do it.
Or just
Or-
pump out a new Star Wars game every year. Make A New Hope, then make Empire Strikes Back, then make Return of the Jedi. Profit, profit, profit.
Hey, it's in the vault now, man.
That's a moneymaker.
It's in the vault there with Avengers Infinity
Yeah,
Quest.
but come on, Rogue One pinball. Let's go, dude.
Oh, Rogue One, so good.
Skeleton Acolyte, the
Can I get
pinball game.
Andor like just combined in there, like a Rogue One
Ooh.
Andor?
They should just go
Yes.
full meme and make an Acolyte. Just like sell 3 total
Well,
games.
Skeleton Crew is shockingly good. It's just Goonies, but
the
I
last
like it.
the last 2 were kind of a slog for me. The one where they went on not Add-in, but what's the planet Add something similar.
Whatever the
Yeah.
something.
And then the one last week. Well, the end I liked, but it's like almost 2 Goonies.
It's
Speaking
so
of,
Goonies.
that's a rumor for 2025. Goonies and pinball.
Oh, that's a spooky thing, right?
I think.
It'd be a good fit for them. It'd be a really good fit
It'd
for
be a
them. It's
great
kind of
fit
like
for them.
Yeah.
on vibe. They do great mechs with it. Like that. They could kill that theme.
Harry Potter is the big rumor for Jersey Jack pinball.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about that earlier. Like, yeah, I mean, if it's straight up Harry Potter, all the licenses they need for it, the sound, the video, I mean, it'll probably crush it.
So you're in on day one, right?
Not necessarily. If it's all those things, and it's something my wife and I bond over, and the theme is awesome. It's not a day one. It's close. It's not like
Have you ever had a Jersey Jack in the house?
no, and that's the reason. Like if this was a Stern, day one, no matter what, easy, no question. Shallow code, don't give a fuck. It's Harry Potter, it's Stern, they'll do it right.
Yep.
That's the thing. If this was it's close. If Matrix is another rumor still for JJP. That's
If
more
it
of
was a Matrix with 3 lower playfields and 2 upper playfields,
I'd
how would you
probably
feel about that?
I'd probably still be in. Matrix has a special place in my heart for a lot of reasons, and existentially more than anything. It's a reminder to me of like just whatever, like the artist side in me. It's the reminder to like, oh yeah, it's life isn't about this.
I feel like
But-
they're only 1 lower playfield away from a huge hit. Like they just need just
damn it.
1 more, and they'll do it.
Wow.
Well, Matrix, they probably will. They'll have Zion as an under the play field.
Now, what about? Hey, hear me out, guys.
Yeah.
Lower, like super lower play field, where you can
double lower.
only see it from under the cabinet. So you have to crawl under the cabinet and
Yeah.
hit you hit the flipper buttons. Like
I'm
you have
in.
to hold, and then you look. Like you're a mechanic, right?
But it's like a glory hole. It's like a trick. Every time you go in there, it's someone's dick. Like you go down there, oh, it's the under, and you go and you just put your dick in the side of the cabinet.
Don't they already have that?
We should have glory holes in pinball machines. I think. Harry Potter, Matrix. Okay, so the success of Metallica, they're like, oh, here's how successful I know Metallica was. I think it's okay for me to say this. If it's not,
Do it.
I'm still here.
We'll fix it in
I'm
post.
alive. We'll fix.
Yeah.
We're not gonna because this is live. Yeah,
Go.
we assume we fixed it in post, but you're still hearing it. So whatever. When I bought the Metallica Premium for flipping out pinball, when I buy my flip, I bought the last one from them.
You're kidding me.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, last night because I was like, "Sup, I want to buy this game." He's like, and then I was like, "Oh shit, there's no expression lights in stock." I was like, "Just wait, let me find these." Like, I can't really wait. If you want it, you're gonna. Basically, yeah, it was the last one in stock. I was like,
If there's one
Unbelievable.
lesson Stern is going to learn from
God.
2024, I think it's going to be that, people will buy a remaster of a game they really want. And if you look at the sales for probably all their games this year,
Metallica.
Metallica,
I don't think there's any other game that, other than maybe Jaws, that Zach has
Jaws
been like,
is-
"Oh, I don't have anymore."
What do we want to see remastered next?
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings and
So-
Tron probably are the two top community choices.
Mm-hmm.
And Ghostbusters, I'd say. For me
Ghostbusters,
personally,
for sure.
if they
What-
remade Lord of the Rings, they would just have.
What
a bunch
about
of
Walking
money.
Dead?
No,
Is that IP? Is that IP too? Like, is the show still even going on?
No, is
there's
it?
8 shows. Yeah, man, there's a million shows.
Is
But
there?
I think that if you just, there's always so many shows.
I want that game. Oh, me personally, sorry to interrupt. Other than the obvious Lord of the Rings and Tron, which like everyone that like it's certain if you know like if you need to make games, those are the ones that you make.
It's
that's
a love it or
licensing.
hate it, right? And that's
For what?
you can see that for Walking Dead, and you can see it in
Yeah.
the price. You can still get them for cheap. Ghostbusters Pro still commands a decent price, and Tron commands a decent price. Lord of the Rings does. Those seem like surefire home run hits. Ghostbusters, you make a new one, instant sellout.
Yes.
I mean,
Same with
crazy.
Lord of the Rings. Same with Lord of the Rings. I think Tron is close.
Close.
But as much as there's people that say it's like the best, it's more because there's just not as many made. But like that game, it's good. It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not a huge fan of a third left flipper type of game. Like I want it on the right flipper, maybe because my dominant hand is right. But like that's something that honestly, I like Tron. It's good. It's really good. But Lord of the Rings and Ghostbusters, I think, are on a whole nother level of like people
Yeah,
want those
they're
games.
better.
Ghostbusters makes the most sense, I think. You're
Yeah.
gonna have movie. You have an LCD, so you have
Mhm.
movie.
And that was already
clips.
that was Spike 1, so there's not a lot they need to do.
Right. It'll be a little easier for whoever to make this, and the video modes. I mean, the crossing the streams.
Mhm.
Like you do with the P.
Yeah. And then, where you're choosing the card, which, the psych test with the card
Yeah.
and you're choosing, that could all be actual video. I mean, it would be
Couple of
Man, it
wavy
would-
lines.
absolutely fire, man. Or some type of animation.
They're all going to get a huge bonus. Ghostbusters is going to get the video if you can get the assets. Lord of
Mhm.
the Rings is going to get flippers that work. And
Lord of the Rings,
Tron,
holy fuck.
that game's a Daft Punk game, right?
Yeah.
When you get it in Spike 2 with good sound
Yep.
in stereo, that is going to really change that game.
And the cherry on top is they'll all have insider connected achievements to keep the
Oh, yeah.
dopamine running.
Which I need because I don't have caffeine anymore.
There you go.
Libations for everyone. Out of all the fucking Lord of the Rings, seriously. But yeah, Walking Dead though, I want that. What do
I
they?
think it's a love it or hate it game.
That's the thing. Like that one is like if it's a low lift, but for me, if they remake Walking Dead and they just do the same thing they do with Metallica, where it's like it's just a premium and above. I want the pro. I legit want the pro. If you if you did a Black Knight sort of Rage remake and you're like, yeah, it's the premium. Like, fuck off. I don't want this. I want
Yeah.
the pro.
What-
Ghostbusters, I'll take either.
Yeah, I was about to ask. So with Ghostbusters,
I want the pro, but I'll take either.
you get that the subway ramp. You get I think the biggest deal is the way they did the slingshots, the Magna slings.
And the right.
It's like a
ramp
love or hate.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
I
but
don't
the
like the
Magna
Magna
slings are like a
slings.
love or hate kind of thing.
Yeah, I
That-
don't like the Magnus slings.
So
I
if-
prefer traditional also.
If I was to remake Ghostbusters, I don't even know if it's a remake. It's almost like a vault, but I wouldn't change the art at all. I mean, if you're gonna go movies, okay, then no, I wouldn't change the art. I would take the pro and maybe add in because of the ramp, like the subway's cool, but it's not really a big change. And the right rampy thing when it adds on the premium, that it adds the cross metal like in Mandalorian that comes back, it kind of clouds some of the playfield, like whatever. I would like them to you could just call it, I don't know what you call it, Ghostbusters Remastered, I guess. I'd like to call it just Ghostbusters 2 and have more Ghostbusters 2 assets in there because all they have is the River of Slime. I want more of what's the painting's name? Vigo.
Vigo.
Yep.
Yeah, the Carpathian Master. Fuck, whatever his name is. More of that, but I don't know. Since it was a Spike 1, it's already in stereo. I would assume it can be transferred over pretty easy. The color DMD, even on Ghostbusters, is already pretty awesome. Like, is our video clips going to do
Video
anything
assets
more?
might just cost
cool.
a ton of money.
Yeah, but I don't think it's necessary because it's like Ghostbusters is also a cartoon, and I like the cartoon, the real Ghostbusters.
That's true.
But I really think just from a marketing aspect and a collector's aspect, you have to have Zombie Yeti do all new art.
Who was the artist on the first one?
Zombie Yeti.
Yeah. So what do you mean? Just have him do? Different art?
Redo it. Yeah, just different art. Here's
phenomenal
the
art.
Remastered art. Yeah. Oh, it's one of the most beautiful machines. I'm not saying it needs a redo, but just from a marketing aspect and a collector's aspect, it has to all be different.
Black and white.
That's your first impression.
Black and white. God damn it. Yeah. Oh man. But I think sure. Even more so than Metallica, the thing that draws a lot of people's eyes to Ghostbusters first is the art. So to change one of the things,
and the theme, it's a really funny game. I mean, like those all the call outs and stuff are great, just phenomenal.
I mean, there's a way to just exploit that game, which I think if Ray Day is on like remakes, who knows? I don't know if he is, but let's say he's on it. He's a tournament player. I think he would maybe ixnay some of get the ramp to 6 times and just. Or the 2 times and 3 times by the ramp. That's what I'm talking about, the stand-ups. Because that's the name of the game is just hit the left scoop, to get Tobin's spirit guide many times, get it in 6 times multiplier and play. If you're not doing that, then what are you doing?
Yeah, Ray Day being on code for Metallica is like the best, I think. Just he's great.
Yeah, he crushed it.
Yeah.
Just phenomenal. He does great work.
Because of Lord of the Rings, let me just finish this thought because I have to now that I'm thinking about if they remake Lord of the Rings, and they'll probably change it from incandescent to like whatever, that sucks. But they would have to, I think, change a lot more in Lord of the Rings. They're not going to reprint that old poster 240p art.
No.
They definitely put movie clips.
You have to like recode the whole thing.
Yeah,
like there's so much to it, right? Like that is probably a pretty Herculean effort. There's so many rumors about it too. You just don't know what's true. Because there was a rumor a long time ago that they had some working prototype of Lord of the Rings on Sam, I think. But again, I don't remember.
Aside from all of our own wants, what we feel attached to from a theme, what do you think objectively, if they only picked one of those, that would sell the best? I do think it's Lord of the Rings.
Sales, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
For remasters?
Yeah, if they chose just one of those.
Sales wise, Ghostbusters would crush it.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't disagree. It wouldn't crush it. It's still kind of relatively new game, but it's rarer. No, it's not rarer than Lord of the Rings. Well, in a way it is. Do you think they would shrink the flipper gap in Ghostbusters? I don't want them to, but they probably would, right?
I think they would fix it. Yeah, that was a mistake in when they copy and pasted the CAD stuff.
Was it?
That would be fixed.
I guess then okay. Even so, I to Zach's point earlier, I liked that it was more difficult. Hence, like Walking Dead. But if it was a mistake,
Gomez has talked about that a whole bunch because he gets asked about Ghostbusters so often. I can't remember what he said so much about it because it's been like years and years of interviews with him. But I think he said he wouldn't fix the flipper gap mistake.
Yeah.
They are clearly going to be remaking stuff because of Metallica, right? Mm-hmm. What do you guys think the cadence will be? I think minimum one a year.
One a year.
Do you think minimum one a year? Do you think more than that,
one
Cale?
a year.
That or every other year.
Okay, so not more than that.
I think the sales of the other games will dictate it, right? And if they have if it keeps going, because part of the problem is, right, it's not like, oh, 2024 probably just didn't have a lot of successful sales. It's that they have a bunch of games going in. Like, how can you go back on how do you go back to the well or the vault, right? Where you have games that you need to make, because that they need to make a lot of games, Stern, right? The production line has to keep moving. And I don't think they're gonna get it by making John Wick and whatever else isn't in the vault.
We're naturally just continuously talking about Stern, which I think is just it's what we
It's
do
the
anyways.
nature of the beast.
And it's the games that are out there. So if what they have in 7 days roughly is Dungeons and Dragons, that is a complete question mark. Who knows? I think
Mhm.
yeah, who knows? King Kong by Keith Elwin is the heavily rumored other from him from them. That should, just to the people that know pinball, do great because it's Keith Elwin and dude just crushes it. Period.
Yep.
And the theme is neutral enough. I don't care about King Kong, but like it fits the monster, the Jurassic Park, the Godzilla, the Jaws, whatever. King Kong, great. And then if they have another remaster, and then there's rumors of Mario, and I've heard some Nintendo rumors myself, and I won't get into it, but that's heavily there. It's a pretty good year for Stern, and I think if they do a 1-2 punch with Metallica remastered, whatever remaster they do next, if they pick any of those that we just said, Lord of the Rings, Tron, Ghostbusters, even Walking Dead to a certain extent. I mean, for me, Walking Dead's probably the worst selling of all those, but yeah, Ghostbusters or Lord of the Rings, they do 2 years in a row. Fuck me, they will crush it. And then so they do another one the year after. Again, pick whatever they didn't there. I think that's a big money maker for them. Any closing comments from either of you for 2025? What you're looking forward to? What you're thinking? What you're worried about?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to play mechanics. I mean, the rumors Halo,
Shit.
Oh, cool.
Pulp
be cool.
Fiction. They knocked it out of the park with Pulp Fiction. Our Pulp Fiction is getting played super hard. It's holding up. And man, it is printing money. So I'm excited about whatever play mechanics in Chicago has next. The rumors Halo, kind of weird, but
It
They
fits.
did that big Halo arcade, so I guess like from a
yeah, the fire team
relationship, like it makes sense.
for
It'd
sure.
be cool though.
Not
I'm
just
down with
you know,
that.
in the pinball world,
Yeah.
we haven't seen video games crossover.
Yeah, we don't do video games.
No,
so that's
but we really.
that'd be great.
Mario would be the good catalyst for that. I mean, but
Mhm.
it's also kind of top tier. Call of Duty or Halo would be. I mean, Call of Duty just seems kind of odd.
Well,
It
you'd get
does.
you'd get the general audience in, right? You'd get the
Mhm.
brand recognition so high. And
Yeah.
that's kind of what pinball needs to a certain extent. You just need to get people excited. That's why bands always do so well.
I think the other than Mario, the game that I think would do great that just hits all the boxes. The video, if we're talking video games, would be Tony Hawk Pro Skater. But getting the license to all that music everywhere.
Man.
Yeah,
Be so
I
cool.
played one, the
Oh, right.
homebrew.
Yeah.
Man, that was cool.
I bet.
This guy's shots are unlike anything I've ever seen. Did you play
Insane.
it, Zach?
It was not working when I was over by it, but I got to look at it quite a bit. And he had a
Yeah.
part showing people it, and man,
There was
so
some
cool.
incredibly creative stuff in that game that, and I saw all the big guys from Stern playing it. So they're probably getting some ideas. They're
Insane geometry, just
Yeah.
crazy stuff happening.
The licensing for the remastered Tony Hawk that was on like released, was it last year or 2 years ago? They got most of the music, but not all of it. And video game, it was Activision, I believe it was a branch of Activision that remade it. They got more money than Stern does, so that would be the toughest part. I mean, you got Primus, you got Goldfinger, you got Motorhead. There's a lot of big bands in there. Yeah.
When you were mentioning, when you were saying that, this is a game that we all want to see, and it's Tony Hawk, you're right. We all want to see Tony Hawk, but the game, Rachel and I are very excited if they make a Pokemon game.
Oh, yeah, that was the rumor heavily.
Yeah.
Up until what? That just kind of dissipated.
Yeah, who knows? I haven't heard anything, but man, that would be the crossover game because all of the kids that come to Electric Bat Arcade,
Fortnite.
and they're playing all these Japanese rhythm games. I mean, that's the scene that would be the crossover. That would bring all those kids into pinball.
Well, 2025, I think it's a crucial year for pinball in general, for like the secondary market, to like have it level off and give confidence back. Like, okay, these things aren't all just like dropping like crazy. Like King Kong should hold its value if that's a thing. Dungeons and Dragons could go the way of like Venom and John Wick because of theme. However, Harry Potter and or Matrix, Jersey Jack needs a shot, like adrenaline. I mean, Avatar. What? I think. I don't know how Jersey Jack keeps surviving. I mean, I know the answer to it, but aside from the backing of all the money, like, what's happening? People aren't buying this stuff. It's an interesting year. There's a lot of themes that, if all the rumors, let's say, become true, including a remaster of one of those awesome themes, and then there's, well, let's say it's Tron, and Matrix comes out, and Harry Potter, and there's Goonies, and King Kong, and Mario. That is a completely blowout year of themes, and if that doesn't work,
my end remark, I guess, will just be I'm very excited to see Spike 3. I'm really interested to see what they're doing with that. That'll be really cool.
The latest has been that it's not really like a full redo, but it's like Metallica, which I didn't know until recently, that they did replace like the power supply, so no longer. I don't know if it's just that the fan isn't loud, but also the coils, they don't overheat, so the power stays stable the whole time, which I've read, which is
very cool.
Yeah. So yeah, if Spike 3 ends up being a big like to do and it's a whole new like or if it's just like little iterations, I'm also excited. Yeah, I would think that King Kong is going to be the one that gets it, if not Dungeons and Dragons. Well, thank you guys for joining. I think we covered most of 2024, what happened and what's coming in 2025. Cale, enjoy the Electric Bat Arcade. For those out there who are in the Arizona area, go find the Electric Bat and make sure to be there on March 12th to see Counter Punch. Hey, what time are your shows usually there? Like 7, 8 p.m.?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. And Zach, I don't know if we'll do any deep dives coming up. I got to think of, it takes, we have to be playing these games to do deep dives on them. So we're not going to do a deep dive on John Wick or Venom. But
it'd have to be like X-Men.
Oh, then I got to play it more.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's think of a deep dive. We'll do a deep dive soon. Everyone else, thanks for joining the Pinball Party. Cale, Zach, we'll see you later.
Yeah. Thank you, Jason.
Oh, yeah.
This has been an absolute slice.
In this moment